you, God. I'm hurting, God. This thing tearing me to pieces, God. I'm hurting, God. I don't know what to do, but what I do know to do is to worship you, God. I don't know what to say, but what I do know to do is to worship you, God. God, I'm hurting so much right now, I don't even know how to pray, God, but I do know to worship you, God. God, I can't even pull up an old song that makes me feel, God. I'm like when they were in Babylon, how do we sing the songs of Zion in a strange land? God, I can't even think of the words to it. But God, I do know to worship you, God. I do know that you're still on the throne, God. I do know that you still love me, God. I do know, God, that you're still with me, God, and you'll never leave me nor forsake me, God. It said Job rose, he rose from his seat and he ripped his coat and he shaved his head and he opened his mouth for the first time. And the first thing he could say after he worshiped God, can I tell you, when we worship God, he begins to center us. When we worship God, we move from a place of committing suicide and giving up altogether to a place of hope. We might not know how it's going to work, but we do know that God is still on the throne. And the Bible says that when he worshiped God, the Bible says that he opened his mouth for the first time. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't do anything. All I could do is cry and trust that God is still in control. I didn't know the answers. I couldn't encourage anybody else because I need encouragement for myself. The folk around me didn't understand what I was going through. But God, you knew what I was going through, God. And when I worshiped you, God, when I looked to heaven and said, Yahweh, I love you. Jehovah Rapha, I trust you. Jehovah Sidkenu, I believe you got my back. Elohim, I know you are the creator. When I worship God, he said the first thing that came out of his mouth was naked I came in and naked I'll leave. Can I tell you, when we came out of our mother's womb, we had nothing. We had no one that we loved, that we had developed feelings for. We had nothing. And Job said, you know what? I'm hurting right now. But when I came out of my mother's womb, I had no sons. I had no daughters. I had no oxen. I had no camel. I had no wealth. I had nothing. All I had was God on my side. And he says, and so you know what? If God don't give me anything back, at least he didn't take anything from me. I came with nothing and I might leave with nothing, but God is still on the throne. Somebody say yeah. Somebody say yeah. He said the Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. I don't know about you, but Job understood that he had one assignment. Despite all that he endured, he had one assignment. But despite of all the things that came against him, he had one assignment. Even though he had to cry in the midnight hour, he had one assignment. He had many heartbreaks in his life, but he had one assignment. And despite all that he endured and encountered, he never lost sight of his assignment. He saw the end before the end saw him. Can I tell somebody, you're in a place right now and you got to trust God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul. You might be under attack right now, but you got to see the end, that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Somebody say yeah. Somebody say yeah. 42 chapters later, Job went through all kind of hell in those 42 chapters. But 42 chapters later, in verse 12 through 16, it says, so the Lord, he blessed Job in the second half of his life. I know you're going through right now. I know you're struggling right now. But the Bible says that in the second half of his life, the Lord blessed Job even more than the beginning. but now he had 14,000 sheep. He had 6,000 camels. He had 1,000 team of oxen and 1,000 female donkeys. He also gave Job 7 more sons and 3 more daughters. He named his first daughter Jemima, the second Kezia, and the third Karen Hapuk. In all the land, no women were as lovely as the daughters of Job, and their father put them in his will along with the brothers. Job lived 140 more years after that. He's able to see 4 generations of children and grandchildren, and then he died, an old man who had lived a long life and a full life. You see, Job, he understood the assignment. He went through some heartache, but he understood the assignment. He had to cry in the midnight hour, but he understood the assignment. There's some folk in here, you going through some stuff, but you better understand the assignment. You might have got evicted, but you better understand the assignment. You might have lost a loved one, but you better understand the assignment. You might get rocked to the left and rocked to the right, but don't you give up on God. You got one job to do, and that's to understand the assignment. Somebody say yes. Despite all that he had endured and encountered, he never lost sight of the assignment. He saw the end before the end saw him. You got to see your joy before joy sees you. You got to see your peace before peace sees you. You got to see your deliverance before deliverance see you. And the most profound words that came off his lips at the end of Job in chapter 1, verse 21, Job said, "Blessed be the name of the Lord." You got one assignment, and that's to bless his name. You got one assignment, and that's to lift him up. You got one assignment, and that's to trust in the Lord with all your mind, all your heart, and all your soul. You going through, but blessed be the name of the Lord. You had to cry in the midnight hour, but blessed be the name of the Lord. You lost a job and times are hard, but blessed be the name of the Lord. You got cancer and it's running through your body, but blessed be the Lord. Somebody say yeah. Somebody say yeah. I got any folk in the house that's ever gone through something, might be going through right now, but you understood the assignment. I cried, but I blessed him. I bowed down, but I blessed him. I was scared, and then I realized that the Lord has not given me a spirit of fear, and I blessed him. Somebody say yeah. Somebody say yeah. Just like our brothers and sisters in Haiti, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But your assignment is to give God praise and watch God do it. Your second half will be better than your first half. God's got a blessing with your name on it. Can I get anybody to join me and bless the name of the Lord? Back hurt, but I bless him. Foot hurt, but I bless him. Head hurt, but I bless him. Pocket empty, but I bless him. Blessed be the name